in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going live. Good day to you all. It's Cragum here. Hello. I don't know how good the stream is on this, but it's the second live feed of Mr. Cragum Wargaming. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how good the quality is, but you can see we have a tank. Oh yes, a tank. We have Hellblasters. We have a plaster because of what happened last time, and we've got Death Company. So first things first, I'm going to put the tank to the side, and we'll get my sand out. And oh yes, look at this, like Arabian Nights. So, first things on today's agenda is the sanding of the Death Company. Yes, it's like the changing of the guards. This is the sanding of the Death Company. So, I need one of my pants brushes. This one will do, and right, okay. I apologise if I'm humming weird music. It's because I've just watched Austin Powers. So, PVA, just some standard Bond stars. Anybody want to know? It's Bond stars. PVA glue. So, look at this. This is the quality. Oh, look at that weirdness. Okay, I put clearly too much PVA glue, but I'm enjoying myself, so. Oh, and we have our first viewer of the day. Hello, what's your name? Pop your name in the chat, say hello so I know who you are, and I can give you some love and say hello. So, and my Xbox just turned off. Right, okay, let's fold that like that, and that like that, and then get Death Company in order. So right, let's hold it like this. Also, I'm gonna end up messing up everything. So yeah, if you were here last time, the infamous gag of the episode or the video was that I would cut my finger because I was cutting out Warhammer Flesh Terror pieces, and I thought, oh god, I'm going to. So everybody was like, oh, you're going to slice your finger, you're going to slice your finger. And I was joking, saying, no, I'm not, I'm fine. Later that evening, I sliced my thumb open, cutting a pad off. So, you did get first blood. You did get it. So, touche to the people from before. So, there we go. Right, so, PVA to loose. And then I just dip it in. And then what I normally do is I just leave it there, like that, and then wait for it to get to the whole squad, because then basically the sand gets a bit more time to kind of bond, and you've not got a thinner layer of sand on the base then. Like it doesn't kind of flake off. So, and I always mix a bit of water in when I'm doing my bases, when I'm PVAing them up, just because it makes sense to do so. You kind of find that when you're not watering them down a bit, it gets a bit clumpy and so there's 2. I've got 5 of them to do. I already did one of them, so he was the other night when I was doing the Terminators. So yeah, so these guys are I got them second hand. And basically, since having them second hand, they were a bargain. So I'm now repurposing them, rebasing them. They weren't really painted much. There was like I say, these two were probably the most painted. I think there was one that was like finished painted, but I got them for a cheap price, £15 for 14. So you could not complain with that price for that many Death Company with backpacks. So It was kind of gutting. It was only 14 because now I have one odd number. But I'm going to try and make one Def Company out of a marine I have. So at least that's kind of something to go by. So let's. I don't know why that is coming to my head, but that was not in Austin Powers. So, sadly, waiting for people to come on so I can talk to them. So, I will continue. Because I think people liked that in the last video was me just talking about the hobby. Kind of my views, my opinions, you know, jazz like that. So, I'll talk. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to maybe talk about the new Primaris. Range which is coming out, which is obviously the Captain, the Librarian, and the Reavers. Now, I mean, as I'm speaking now, the prices went live this morning at 10 o'clock for pre-orders, and I'm kind of, like the community, I'm kind of disappointed in GW. Like, the main box set was a gold mine and like a proper bargain, and then for one model, £25. And it's the size of a Primaris Marine at the end of the day. We've seen how big the captains are, and it's kind of gutted me a bit because I don't hold much hope for the future Primaris Marine releases. I feel like they are going to be something of a disappointment themselves. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. So you can see we've got a Def Company in here waiting and drying. Now I have the awkward thing is I always put too much glue on and then I've got nothing to base. So what we'll actually do? No, I lie. I've got these, so I'll base these as well. No point wasting good old PVA glue. So yeah, £25 is a hefty price for one model, especially how characters seem to be going the way of 8th edition. Of they could be very weak, if anything. Oh, we've got another viewer. Who is it? Pop your name in the chat and say hello and ask away of questions. Oh, 2 people. Oh, I'm feeling popular. I'm feeling popular. So you join us as I'm currently tickling the rims of Def Company. So yeah, and I'm talking about Primaris Marine's new release and how disappointed I am in the price. I mean, even if you're going third party to say places like Element Games, anything like that, it's still a hefty price for one model of £25 for a captain. I'm kind of like I say, I can't hold out hope for future releases because I've really been looking forward to this beastie dreadnought and the size of a Leviathan dreadnought, and then if the captain's costing me £25 for a model who looks that big, how much am I going to be paying for a model who's the size of a Leviathan? So I'm kind of a bit like, GW, you've done us up there a little bit. You did a diamond deal with the main starter set. Obviously, I think these Reavers are going to be a quite good price because obviously they're like the get starter kits for Age of Sigma, so it's going to be one of those where they are kind of a bit, they're like probably what, £10-15 for the starter set, unless they're looking at increasing the price of the Age of Sigma stuff as well, which would be mortifying. But yeah, so I'm holding out hope for the Reavers to be cheap, and obviously with Flash Terror's army, for my Primaris, it makes sense that I get some Reavers because they're kind of close combat troops. But yeah, like, because I wanted to get a captain model, and I was really looking forward to getting this one, but as soon as I saw the price, I kind of have backed away and don't really want it. I've got Space Marines as librarians, I've got Space Marines as captains, and it's just, I mean, the thing is as well, is what's intriguing me is we have a new librarian, Primaris Librarian, coming out, but we have no rules for the Primaris Librarian. So I'm kind of intrigued as well how GW are going to handle that one, because obviously we've had no mention of the book coming out for him. So I wonder if it's just a standard like librarian, like, or if it's a Primaris tall librarian, because I can't remember seeing that in the main books. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things really, where I'm a bit like unsure about the whole thing. Right, that's that guy, and then also obviously we've got the Nurgle stuff, which is, that's what's weird, is that, oh, we've got another person. Say hello, and I will say hello back. The chat is very quiet today as I talk away. And it's kind of annoying, really, because, like, I understand, obviously, the Death Guard got quite a few cool models and stuff like that, but then only to be giving them Poxwalkers and the launcher model in that set of 3 Plague Marines. It seems like they're cool models, don't get me wrong. I find it odd that you get a Power Fist in there, because obviously if you've got the Dark Imperium set, you've got a Power Fist already. So it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of thrown me off a little bit with the decisions. The Poxwalkers make sense. The Reavers is a bit odd because it's a pack of 3, and I can only presume that it will be like units of 5, like most standard Marine units are. So I'm kind of, yeah, it's kind of, I'm looking forward to the Reaver models. I'm going to probably edit them a little bit because they look a bit gimpy with those little ankle bracelets for ankles. But yeah, it just seems a bit like a bit of a cop-out, really, with the captain and the librarian being £25, when clearly I can get, what, for £25 I could get six Reavers, or, oh, hi Big Mac Dan Skull, welcome to the party. Ask questions, by the way. We're just talking about the new releases, obviously. And we've got Caparza. I'm painting my Primaris slowly because I'm waiting for the equipment options for lieutenants and sergeants. See, yeah, this is another thing. This is a thing that really got me a bit, was the options for the Gravis armor, the lieutenants, everything like that. It was a bit of a cop-out, really, because, I mean, yeah, you get this as a kit and it looks lovely and it's cool and it's got this gauntlet with the Gravis, and I presume a Gravis armor can only really have a gauntlet and then this kind of a hand weapon. But the fact that the book didn't give us any options is kind of a bit of a cop-out, really, because anybody for Imperium 2, Imperium 1, and I think Chaos as well, because obviously we're waiting for Mortarium, it's kind of a bit of a cop-up, because we've had to buy this, but we've had to play with the basis rules, and I'd kind of liked if just these guys alone, maybe the lieutenants, had a few options. I mean, obviously you can see I kind of just stuck to the standard and gave him like the Blood Angel iconography and the Flesh Tear icon. But for the lieutenant with the bolter, there's going to be another book for Primaris soon enough, I imagine. Welcome, Stu. I told you you'd be able to get on your phone. Like, but the problem is, like, I mean, I like this model. I think it's cool. It's got a Jason Statham theme to him. I'm going to call him Jason. But I think the Primaris captain, if anything, we should have been able to give the option straight away, so that we've got these models to customize, because they know that the community is going to customize the models. So it's one of those, really, where it's kind of a bit like, I don't know. I'm holding out hope still that the Giant Dreadnought will be a decent price, but as we all know, giant things come in 50s. So, and then it starts to make you think, do I want one tank which could blow up and be not worth it, or do I get at least a second lieutenant? Looks like easy to cut the bolter end part and the other part. Yeah, that is true, actually. That is very true. Although I will warn you that it's kind of a pain. It'll be 48. Yeah, it will be 48, Stu, and it'll be a pain. Just put out on this one, I don't know if you can see because of the lighting, because I think I've got my lighting down on my phone. You can see that's kind of like really kind of attached to that. So it's like literally all the arms, because they're like slap on. The only problem I've got there is that there's that kind of like whole thing where they'll have not made the rim into it. But like I say, I like this Models pose. I think as a snap together kit, it's amazing. And like the Reavers are obviously the same, but the Reavers are a bit more flimsy and their arms are like way and all that. So maybe they will have a bit more of a better opportunity with them to kind of convert and things like that. I knew you were going to do it. So you missed actually a very good one before when I said I was tickling the rim of the Deaf Company. So sand out the way. Next, oh look, a clean board because I cleaned it for you guys. Bum 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 bum. Hellblasters. So, and a tank. So, I want to ask you guys, which ones do I paint? Do I paint the Hellblasters or do I paint the tank? Hellblasters, tank. Hellblasters, tank. Hellblasting tank. Hellblasters, tank. Which one do I pick? Because that's what I'm going to choose to paint while I'm doing the live feed, really. And while you guys, the first person to answer gets to choose. Hellblasters it is. Bam. Stu, I'm not going to tell you which I'm using on the knife because you're battling me on the knife. And that would be just naughty to kind of try and find out. But I will tell you this, both of them. Surprise! No changing your list now either. But yeah, so back onto the topics of what I've been thinking. I already do know your list, of course, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, back onto the topics. So, obviously, talking about the new releases for Primaris today, and mortified at the fact of how they're hocking up that price ridiculously to £25. I wouldn't say ridiculously, I may be going a bit over the top there. But it does just seem like, welcome whoever's just joined, it does just seem like it's kind of like the Dark Imperium set was there to entice us in, so to speak. And then, yeah, it's actually, Stu, the prices are £25 for the Captain and the Librarian each. So, yeah, that's the price. This is a public announcement. That is the price for both of them. So, yeah. Oh, look, each, yes. £25 each, Stu. I know. Everybody is saying the exact same. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Primaris future releases. Oh, they're £22.50 each. I thought they were £25. Or is that £22.50 on, what's the naming? How do you paint the plasma effect? 45 for this pair. Okay, that's not too bad. The plasma isn't done whatsoever yet. That is going to be... I was mixing my prices up then. I apologise, guys. I'm mixing my prices up. It is £22.50. Still, I'm not paying that much. Especially what I've seen of Australia. Not so bad. It's £2.50 off. That is bad. I can buy. I see it this way, right? I see that one Captain costs me £22.50, or with me and how I enjoy converting and things like that, I could just buy a unit of men and convert something up. Obviously, we haven't got the Primaris, but I probably would actually look at maybe doing the Blood Reavers and doing a Captain from that. Kind of playing around with the model with that. So I want to see what's coming up in the future. My plan is to obviously I have my eyes on the big Dreadnought. That has been since it came out, and like the pictures at Warhammer Fest. I've kind of wanted to get that. So it just looks awesome. It just looks perfect. Perfectly RoboCop. So by the way, if you're watching right now, you're probably watching the gimpiest painting technique ever. Like, the way I hold my brush is just weird. It's such an odd way of holding the brush, I admit, but nonetheless. So yeah, so while off topic, I'll go on to painting and what I do on these Hellblasters and all the Primaris Marines. It's basically, I start off with, where is it? Start off with Rhinox hide on the base, like as a base colour. Then, what do I think about the Reavers? I'll come back to your question, Capazo, just after finish describing the paint scheme, because I know a few people have wanted to know. So it's basically Rhinox hide, and then it is just a couple coats of corn red over the top, and then from that I basically take on a shouldy load of Agrex wash to go into all the recesses, give it a really dark tone, and then I just go over with corn red again. And then after I've gone over with corn red, it's a mix of Wazdaka, Evil Suns mixed in with corn red to obviously keep the tones in there, and then that's like kind of a highlight. So essentially this is how obviously they look after the wash. This is how they look after the corn red, and then this is how they look after the Wazdaka included. So you can see there's like the slight difference in the colour of the armour. Like, there's a bit more tone to it. So it's a nice. I like it. I'm kind of chuffed with it, and I know it's not exactly how my other Flesh Terrors was painted, but I like the way that it's coming out. Welcome whoever's joined. If you want to pop your name down, I'll know who you are, and then I can say hi to you, give you a shout out. Back to the question about the Reavers. So, I like them. A lot of people don't like them, and I think the ankles are a bit weird. Yeah, everybody's saying about the ankles it's very true. It's very odd. Like, I think it's just the pose of the model may be the issue, because obviously GW have always said, like they said when they told people about how to take pictures of the models, is get the best angle for like the main focus of the model. So obviously with a Reaver, it's going to be the mask and the weapons in hand, not as much the ankles. So I think maybe we're just seeing the bad angles of the Reavers, and that's probably why a lot of people are hating on them a bit. But I like him. I mean, obviously GW have painted on that skull mask. So many people are not going to be able to do it. I think it's the worst pose at the moment. The helmet is cool. Yeah, this is, I mean, that helmet, if that's got a sculpted skull into it, that's pretty cool. So I presume it has, because GW wouldn't obviously try and paint on some ridiculously complex mask and leave us all to panic about it, would they? No. And I know I won't be able to paint a mask on there, so yeah, I'm painting Flesh Terror icons instead. But yeah, I really like I like the Reavers. I think the Reavers have got a nice kind of special ops look to them. They they just have something kind of a bit different about them, which I think seeing the faces of them, it makes them a bit more stand out to the rest of the Primaris, because the problem I've had with the Primaris for a lot of it is, especially when I compare the Primaris, and I know these are all snap-fit models, but the problem, and I don't know if a lot of other people have had this, is that the Primaris are very dead inside kind of models. There's not really a lot of like emotion to them because they're all masked, and it's like, I know, like, obviously there's a couple which have got the helmets off, like the sergeants and things like that, but it just seems a bit like there's no life to them. Whereas a Marine, you can give it that kind of pose and it looks really nice and stands out, and can give it all these angles and stuff like that, and it looks really cool. But with a Primaris up to now, I've just kind of not felt like there's a story bit. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're a new kind of faction. So, sorry, my nose is running. They're a new faction, so there's not much about them, and I think that might be the issue, is because I've read a lot of the Not Black Library novels, and it just, I don't feel like there's any story behind them. They don't really have much of a kind of presence as many of the other kind of Warhammer factions do. It's like all of them have kind of like I say, the Space Marines have always been known as these saviours of the galaxy, and coming in at the very brink of the moment and saving the day, and Imperial Guardsmen are kind of the backbone of the Imperium, and they are the kind of the meat to the grinder kind of troops. Eldar, these mystics, orcs, savages, Tyranids consuming like a virus kind of thing, like locusts, and then you go Primaris and you go the new big guys. It's them, big guys. And I think maybe until we get more of the fluff behind them and we get the book about them, I can't feel like there's much to talk about them, because there isn't really much of them at the moment. We've got 5 units of Primaris, and that's it. So you've got the Intercessors, the Interceptors, the Hellblasters. We've seen the Reavers, and we've seen the Dreadnought, and obviously there's the floating tank of Doom. Now, for me, I don't know. Like, opinions in the chat below, that'd be great. But it's it just feels a bit like there's no life to him, and maybe that's the plot behind him. I don't know if that's actually what GW have got planned with the Primaris. Is this kind of like they aren't what we think they are, if anything. I mean, obviously there is the rumours that everybody's been saying is like, where's the Chaos's version of the Primaris Marine? And I understand a lot of people want to see Chaos Primaris. I'm not too fussed about it. I like in a way the Chaos being a bit of an underdog with the kind of remnants fighting, and like it kind of essentially like Dick Dastardly of the galaxy. They kind of they get by with what they've got. It's like Dick Dastardly and Catch the Pigeon, if anything. And it's just one of those things where I kind of I don't know. I want the Primaris to be cool, but at the moment they just seem like they are killing machines, and that's what they're essentially programmed to do. They are coming in with Robo Girly Man and just cleansing the enemy. And the problem is, obviously, there seems to be unease. Like there's that kind of like, and this is where I think that they're going with the. I went off. Fantastic. I went off. Okay. Don't know what happened there. Do not know what happened there. Live feed cut off. I apologise. I hope this stays as the same video. Hopefully nothing went wrong, guys. What's going on with the live feed? I apologise. I do not know what's going on with the live feed. I apologise. It's going very weird. It's like keeps jolting in and out. So let's have a look. So yeah, like the Primaris, I think that is their role really, is this kind of like they are a killing machine. They are going to be defending the galaxy from Xenos, Chaos, Heretics, you name it. They'll defend it. But I think at the same time, I think there's something not right about them. Which obviously we won't see in the game because they're already Imperium. They're there. It's all good. But I think we may see a chaotic Primaris or something like that. There's something wrong with the Primaris. This is why I kind of went with these Primaris, because they're a little bit different, and that's where it's bringing the plot line along in 8th edition. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the fluff progresses. To be honest, at the moment, I'm not really too fussed about the rules for Primaris because they are just basically hopped up Marines. And I can't imagine they play much differently to Marines. I don't know. Yeah. By the way, as you can see, I'm halfway through this Hellblaster now. So I've got one leg done, bit of the back done, started on this leg. It's going well. It's going well. Alright, Underdog Painting, you made it this time. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. I like him and I don't like him. There's a lot of things I think a lot of people have gripes with the Primaris Marines. He set an alarm. Wisely done, Underdog. Wisely done. I like it. Yeah, I started the chat a little earlier, like I think 5 minutes earlier. Live stream hi. Hello, hey, Average Brits here as well. Hello, guys. Always good to have the fellow hobbyists on chatting away. So, guys, if you have just joined, you'll see. Basically, I have started painting a Primaris Marine. I've been basing models as well. So you've got the bikes, got the Death Company, got the Primaris. Where do you get the Flash Terror's pads from, Cragum? So let me wash my brush because I feel like I'm going to go on a rant here. So my Flash Terror icons come from ow, stabbed myself. By the way, Brit, you'll notice the thumb is covered in a plaster because later that evening, after the live chat last time, I cut my thumb open and sliced through it with an X-Acto knife. I dropped a hand. So, you'll notice, this is where I get my shoulder pads from. Yes, I get my shoulder pads from here, and then I bravely, if you watched the last live feed, cut them out with a X-Acto knife, carefully, get an adult to do it, to kids, because I clearly shouldn't be doing it. And then I cut round and I basically chop it off, and then I slice down the shoulder pad and then basically place it on there, and as you can see, bing-a-bang-a-boosh. What is wrong with my palette? What's up with them? Like, you can't just do that. So the pads, the problem I have is A, because I use the Blood Angels ones, and B, the pads, if you actually notice them, they were made. Because I actually complained to GW. Well, I didn't complain to GW. I kind of had issues because I had warped shoulder pads, and then I realised a way around it. But if you actually look at the shoulder pads, they are like really thin, really thin kind of rims. They're made for the older Space Marine models because that's when they were first released. So they did say this to me on the phone. They were like, "Look, we're so sorry." Over email, should I say? They said they're so sorry that obviously they don't point this out on the website. That they aren't made for the newer Marines. So the problem I had was that when you put this shoulder pad on the pad with the new pads, so the Dark Angels, the Blood Angel sprue, it doesn't match up, so it looks really weird. I mean, it'll work on kind of the old assault troops and stuff like that, and the old Marines, but it doesn't work with the new ones. And so obviously with the Flash Terror Primaris, the Primaris are pre-made, and you'd have to slice down the shoulder pad, and obviously they've got the new shoulder pad, so that'll look really weird, especially with the size as well. So I'm insane, and I've gone and cut them out. So you can see here, this is probably the best cutting of it. So I just shave down the shoulder pad and place it on, and then same with that one. You'll find that different models, because of the way their arms are placed, they are either really hard to do or really easy to do, and it's kind of a pain in the arse really, to kind of essentially get it right every time. So admittedly, some of my Hellblasters don't look great because well, like I say, one of them, you can see there, the pad's a little bit out compared to this guy's, whose is not. And I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, the Terror pad's on there, and that's what matters. Talking of the Terror pad, actually, so, as is the most complete one, you'll see this is actually how I'm doing the icon. So, if you follow me on Instagram, or anything like that, you'll notice that they are very different, because they're crisper and cleaner, and they have this lovely gloss black. Shiny, 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 shiny. And that's because these guys are going to be called the Blades of Gabriel. Very poncy name, I know, but I don't care. Look at them. They're cool. The Primaris Flash Terrors. And I wanted to kind of give them a bit of a different look. This is another one. So they've still got, obviously, this kind of Marine Blood Angel Flash Terror look. So they've still got the blonde hair. They have the icon. The Reavers, I'm going to go to town with the Reavers, because I want to make... So they're not going to be holding poncy knives. Like, a Flash Terror does not use a knife. What? You use a knife? You use a giant chainsword like this. Yeah. So yeah, there's been a lot actually what I've been painting actually. This is actually something I want to show you guys while I'm on the video, because obviously this is a bit of an update now with these live videos on what I'm working on and how everything's going with the army, whereas I used to do the Tale of Two Painters with Stu, who will be doing chats with me on live actually. So at one point, it's Copper Nuts, who you'll probably have seen commenting on the chat or commenting on videos. But this guy is something I've started, well, I say I started on, I literally did in a day. Basically, we were planning our lists for the game on the 9th, so we're going to do a big game on the 9th. I may do a live video of the 9th, if you guys think that'd be a cool idea, seeing a kind of overview of the battle of a live view. It might be a bit rusty because it's our first 8th game, but this guy basically, he's not fully done yet. He's not had the Wazdaka and the Evil Sons added on yet. But basically, as we were talking, me and Stu, we said like, oh, what could I bring? Because we were upping the cost of points from 1,500 to 1,750. So instantly, my plan was, I've got Death Company in there. I've got a Chaplain with a backpack. Who else can I throw in there? And within a night, I'd created this guy from just trying to figure out what parts I had. And he's got obviously the wings, because I kind of like the idea of the wings of the Apothecary. So this is my Sanguinian Priest with Jump Pack, and he's going to be joining the 5 plus 1 more Death Company plus 5 more Death Company on the 9th. So quite a deadly unit really, because this guy obviously, he's going to grant them the wound back. He gives like those little buffs, so if there's a model with damage, he's going to give a wound, or he can bring a model back. So it's quite cool really to have him in there. He's going to give that little extra buff to an already tough unit of Death Company. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with him. Like I say, he's not done yet. But I'm kind of chuffed. You'll notice all these bases haven't been done yet as well on these models, and that's because I'm going to go like mass and just like base all of them in the next week, because like I say, it's next Sunday when we're going to be gaming, so maybe it'll be a live feed then for you guys of us gaming at the Element Games. So Where was I? Has anybody got any questions as well? Because obviously you guys are in the chat. There's 6 of you, and I don't know who half of you are. I know there's Underdog, I know there's Old Brit, I know there's Big Mac, but I don't know who the other 3 are, guys. So come on, chat. Oh. Ooh. So yeah. So talking about the shoulder pads as well quickly. Underdog, you'll see this guy's not had his done yet. That's because I've not actually glued it on. I've just blue tacked it on so I can kind of see how it's going to look. But this is the major issue I have as well, is obviously with the arms, is say an arm's like that, but like kind of further back, it causes issues because I then have to kind of shave more down so that it fits under the jump pack, the backpack kind of panel as well. So, and I had that issue with this guy actually, you can see, is it was very touch and go. So I had to shave down quite a bit on him. Not so much on him, so that was good. So, right, I was painting this Marine, and I want to get him done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the Marine, and then I'm going to go on to the tank, because I really want to get this Razorback done, because this is going to be going in to the battle. Because what I'm doing is I'm facing off against Nids. There's Nids. There's, I think it's going to be either Primaris Blood Angels going against me, like a whole force of Primaris Blood Angels, or Orcs as well, I think. So it's, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game, like a hell of a few games to battle on, because I've got some very mixed enemies to go against. And do you just use a brush? Do you just brush the red on your tank, or is it spray? The tank, I don't use sprays. I hate sprays. I don't trust them. There's too many times I've seen on the internet when people going, oh, like the spray has ruined my model. Kind of like it's come out claggy in wind conditions. And where I live, it's not the best for kind of getting painting done. I've got no garage, no porch, no anything like that, so I kind of don't want to risk it. So I don't mind painting, because painting indoors I can watch TV and enjoy myself and just kind of do other things, whereas spraying, you've got to go out, you've got to lay something down, and basing my models is just easy, because like I say, it's Rhinox with a big old brush, and it's kind of the corn red, and then it's kind of the applied after the wash and stuff like that. So it's not too bad a situation. If obviously I was doing maybe a different colour scheme, I maybe would resort to spray. It depends on the army size as well, really. So you kind of you don't really know what result you're going to have with a spray paint, so I don't like risking it. I've just become to trust using hand to paint, really. But yeah, so this is the thing. Like, I know there's a lot. I was talking to a lovely chap yesterday, actually, at Games Workshop Manchester, and he's been painting up a unit of scouts for Shadow War Armageddon and the squad painting competition, which is running this month's kind of painting competition, which I am entering. I'm just going to get my models ready and get them down to the shop today. But basically, and we were talking, and we said like that. Obviously, everybody's opinion is different of kind of what's a good paint scheme. And I said, yeah, I said, like, obviously, no matter what, so many people have got different styles. And I think that's what makes this game beautiful, is because you could go with an army of dry-brushed Marines or dry-brushed Necrons against a guy who has fine-detailed every one of his Harlequins in a different paint style. And no matter what, even though they don't look the same in paint style, they look just brilliant on the battlefield. And I call myself an Agrax Ardlad, because that's all I use is Agrax. And kind of like the Agrax Ardlad is the kind of terminology I keep in my head. I've never really said it out loud actually. Now I've said it out loud, it sounds weird. But yeah, I kind of I don't really. I see a lot of people obviously since Agrax came out. There's a lot more kind of people coming with the style of the grunginess and the kind of the Blanjitsu style and that kind of like dirty kind of like everything's grimy, and I like that. So, I mean, if you've ever seen my Imperial Guard army or my Chaos army, they are dirty as hell. There's just Agrax everywhere. I always find when I say I make like a tagline or say something weird, I lose viewers. Side note, and it's just it's kind of one of those things really where I just kind of it's one of those things. I like seeing different paint styles. Obviously I know I won't be able to complete that paint style. I mean, like I say, mine is Corn Red, Agrax Earth, Shade, Corn Red, Wazdaka, Evil Sons. And I will at some point highlight these models. I don't know when, but I will highlight them, and they will look lovely. But again, I've never really done edge highlighting because I've never had a Marine army where I've had to edge highlight, because again, my Chaos was a grimy, dirty army who didn't really need any edge highlight because of Nurgle. So, and I don't think an army of Nurgle should have edge highlighting. Although I did see someone do the Gloom, whatever they are, the Gloom guys in the book yesterday on Instagram, and it was a beautiful start to the paint job, like black paint job. And obviously with black, you need a bit of an edge highlight to go in there. My Dev Company don't have an edge highlight, don't judge me, please. But nonetheless, I have instead tackled it with the way that I know best, because obviously if I was to wash black, I'm just going to end up with more black. So my trick is that I black wash my custom mix, Craig's Special Eshin Grey, which has got the Flesh Tearers Red, which has gone away, so I'm just going to top that up. I like my cross, my little crossy pattern. And basically this is a darker than normal Eshin Grey with like a bit of mix of Army Painter black in there, so it gives that kind of like a little bit of a glossiness to the black. And then I give the wash, because I don't really want to paint my models black, because like I say, these are the second-hand models where it's black, like pure black. And then not the camera. You can see the difference. So mine black is pretty much the same, but I can kind of pick the details out with the Badab black. Not the Badab black, is it Badab black? No, Norn oil. So I can pick it out with the Norn oil. So these guys, second-hand ones, I'm going to come paint them. So this is the next week's worth of painting, is painting these guys up to be like these. And obviously basing, things like that. So this weekend is about getting the tank finished and the Hellblasters finished. And then I've got to obviously add the eyes to all these guys as well. Underdog, see you in a bit. Have a lovely day at work. I'm off to a wedding later on, so I've got to get myself a nice shower later on after going to town to get some bits. So anyway, yeah, back to the Warhammer, Craig. Ow. So I can't remember how long we've been on for, but I'm going to cut off on the hour, because that's kind of about an hour's worth of content. I know we had a few issues with the live feed going on and off, so hopefully that's not caused any issues. But yeah, so I've got stuff coming up in the army. So there's Terminators, there's obviously the bikes, there's an Inquisitor. Cortez, loved how that armor's come out. There's a Dreadnought, and there's even more Terminators. Yes, Space Hulk, haha. And obviously as well, there is like about 10 more Death Company to paint as well, and the Interceptors and the remaining Intercessors and the Gravis armor, and there's a lot to paint. Okay, there's a lot to paint. I'm scared. Do you know what? I can't, because of the lighting. I'm going to leave this guy for the moment being. We're going to go Dirty Tank. Dirty Tank. So first things first. Handily bought second hand, and all these bits come off, which is great for painting. I advise this because I've been able to obviously differentiate the black. So the black bits are done there. So that is done. Ace. Now it's this bit. So it's great because I don't actually have to do anything to those top parts now. They're all done. So what I want is a little bit bigger brush. And again, it's trying to bend this brush's brush so it moves. So same again with this. It was literally an overall wash, because this was a full red tank earlier in its life. I'm going to redo the black on these ones though, because the black's kind of come out a bit claggy where it's not sat properly. But again, it's the same again. It was Rhinox hide, and then just essentially go over it with kind of the Agrax Earth shade for the red, and then the Nuln Oil for the black. So to make sure I can get that in shot, I don't want to be painting off camera, which then you guys are just watching my wrists and my lovely battle paint station. So yeah, topics, people, come on, topics. Give me topics to talk about, and I'll talk about them. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to entertain. Or I'll end up talking like this for the rest of the chat. No one wants that. Nobody. See, I'm losing my mind. So yeah, so we talked about Primaris. We talked about kind of the prices, the Reavers, how I paint. What else was I going to talk about? So, yes, I have a little kind of mini tournament coming up on for the 9th of July, where me and my fellow hobbyists are going to be gaming against each other at Element Games in Stockport, which obviously is coming up, and this is where I've got to get this army painted and done and ready to a tabletop standard, which I'm happy about because I'm that kind of person. And basically I'm going to be facing Stu and his Nids. So obviously you guys kind of, if you watched the Tale of Two Gamers, the plan was me and Stu were going to go head to head with our armies at 1,250 points. But then obviously 8th edition came in and both of us got really excited, kind of lost track. And so now obviously we are in a situation where we are now going to be taking both our armies. And we're going to basically battle there with the 1,750 point armies. So this is where we've added on these kind of additional units. So obviously mine, I've got the kind of the Primaris in there. I've got the Death Company. So a few things have been taken out, like the Land Speeder. But yeah, so hopefully we will record that battle either live or do a pre-recorded one. I don't know. Will both be useless because either of us have really had a battle yet, so we won't know how this game's going to go down. And you'll see kind of hopefully either shots of it, but yeah, so it'll be fun to face Stu and his Nids in the game coming up. I'm intrigued to see how my Marines will fare, because I've gone with a very different list, I think, to a lot of people, because my list is just a lot of troops. It's a lot of troops. I think for 1,750 point army there is actually about nearly 60. I think it's like 53, 54 models kind of running this army, which when I told Stu and told the guys, they were a little bit shocked and amazed, because obviously I'm meant to be the elite choice, and yet I've got half the numbers of the NIDs, and because Stu is rocking 120 models, which includes Flyrants and Turbogons. So yeah, I'm kind of scared about that army, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how to tackle it, really. I need to figure out what my strengths and weaknesses are of this army for those kind of units. I know obviously I've got my Razorback in here, so that's my big monster killer. But yeah, I think I'll fare well, but obviously I'll try to give like a battle report or just an overview of the day itself, really, to show you kind of everybody's different armies and how we all did in the game. So yeah. So yep, you can see the Razorback does not have as much care taken into it and kind of detail, because what I'll do with this is I'll go over with a spot wash and kind of pick out battle damage and bits like that. People a lot of the time say with me and my paint style that it's a lot of wasting time, because I just go back over parts and do bits like that, and I do, but I don't care. And it's just that painting style, really, I've always adapted is, I always see it this way, that if you get annoyed that you've ruined a model by painting it, don't forget you painted it. You can always go back over it because you painted it. So yeah, it's one of those where I always see that if I make a guff up, I will know how I got to that guff up, and then all I'll do is do the necessary steps back again. Obviously not too thick a paint, because you don't want to ruin your models. And then basically just redo and do it differently to how you did last time, so you don't mess up again. But at the end of the day, these models are painted models, so you paint them, we recover from second-hand models. So yeah, it's always made me laugh, because when someone says like, "Oh, I've ruined a model," it's like, unless you've varnished it and done all this, and you've taken hours and hours and hours doing that one little bit, that's fine, understandable. But when people say it about like a little tiny bit, and it's like, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. There's nothing to worry about, because you can just repaint it. And these I think a lot of time people have doubt in themselves, really, as to what the painting and the painting skills, really. So I mean, like for me, I used to hate my own style. And you see my mates, and you see White Dwarf and all online, and I'd be like, oh god, I'm crap. But now I'm not cocky about myself, but I'm comfortable with how I paint. I feel like my painting style's improved greatly enough that I slap a tank with my paintbrush. Blow your nose. And it's one of those, I think, where this is like some words of wisdom from Cragum. Don't doubt yourself ever with your painting skill, because I look back at the first ever Eldar Guardian I painted, and that was years ago, and I think, God, that was awful. And it was like, I think, oh God, that was so bad a paint job. And then I look back at it and I kind of think, it wasn't a bad paint job. It was actually an alright paint job for me back then, when I think back to when I painted all those years ago. And I'm going to try and find, one second. Stay on the line, people. Stay on the line. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, good. You guys stuck with me. That's good. So it's not an Alno Guardian. I'll dust him off because this guy is old. So, right, this was back a while ago. Like, I mean, it's not too long ago because the Guard were one of like my proper first 40k armies. And you look at that, and it's not great. It's red again, so ironic. And this was like my first proper 40k painted army where I actually got a bunch of models painted ready to game with. And this was literally 2 colours in a wash, and at the time I loved it, and I thought, this is amazing, and did really well. And then I started looking at it, and I was like, oh, it looks crap. And then I look at the kind of the stuff I do now, and kind of like I'm doing highlights, I'm doing like proper colour schemes, I'm putting focus on light and kind of the effects and different things like that. And I think you don't just become a pro painter or a decent painter even in a day. It takes years to become someone you're comfortable with painting wise. You have to make a fair few mistakes to get to the point you want to get to. And so that is what I'm trying to say really, is kind of like that no matter how you paint, you've got your own painting style and you pick it up and you learn how to paint. And you could have a different painting style to someone else, and you can learn how to paint, and that's great. But for me, I think you have to be comfortable with how you paint. You have to be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable when you're painting, you're not enjoying it. And then that's the whole thing about this hobby, is enjoying the hobby. And seeing yourself kind of enjoying it is what's the big important part of playing it, enjoying it, painting it, enjoying it. You've got to just enjoy the hobby. So don't like anybody who ever kind of has a bad day painting, just think that, because it's what I do when I have a bad day painting. I kind of put my brush down, sit there, and just go, it's not today. Simple as. It's just not going to happen. And then step away, come back, think about how it's kind of not gone my way, and then I just go back. And then it works. So, and it happened with the Flesh Tearers quite a few times. I was really pissed off at myself because I'd done things wrong. And it just kind of, it didn't upset me, but it kind of got me down, because I thought, I really want to get this army done, and obviously at the time me and Stu were doing the Tale of Painters, and I was ruining stuff, and I don't know, there was times when I was like, oh no, I've just ruined this model, or I just know I can't paint it. And it don't matter if you can't paint it, you learn how to paint it from trial and error. You just got to be careful that you don't go too wrong and trial and error and end up with a purple Gene Stealer arm sticking out of a white scar our body with legs made of tracks. That came out of nowhere, I'm sorry. And yeah, it's that kind of thing, and it's one of those things, and I don't know if you can hear the siren in the background, because that means clearly they're after me and they're coming to get me, so I better finish this up soon. Yeah, it's one of those things where sorry, just looking, one side half painted, one side not painted. One side half painted, one side not painted. Roof not painted. But I will have this tank done by today, I promise you. And it's one of those things really where I'll finish on this one actually. I'll finish on this one because the police are getting closer. That you got to learn to love your own models and not care about what anybody else says. Like if someone says to you in a group or anything, like face to face, and goes, "Oh, like that's not how they should be." Don't care. They're your models. At the end of the day, make them how you want, paint them how you want. People will take the piss out of your models at some point, or rip you for how crap you paint, or say, "Oh, he's a bit shit," or "You don't properly do these things." Don't matter. It's your hobby. At the end of the day, you buy these models for your enjoyment, not someone else's. You go to battle someone else's army, but they do their stuff for their own enjoyment. And so you've got to think it this way, is that you don't need to judge people for the models. You just need to judge yourself a little bit to kind of just go, right, I enjoy doing this. That's what matters. So yeah, I think that is probably the soppiest end to a video I've ever done in my life. Throw some death metal on to break it up. No, I'll finish the video now because it's been over an hour, and I need some din-dins. It's 12 o'clock, so Craig needs some soup noodles and some toast. Yes, lad. I hope you guys enjoyed this. There will be more regular ones. Obviously, we did one last week. It was last Friday when I did one. Thanks very much, Big. I kind of went on a bit of a rant and everybody went quiet, so that's always nice to have a great kind of a comment there. I'll probably do, like I say, I'm at Element Games next Sunday, so I'm hoping to set up the camera to give you a bit of hint of the live feed. So it might be that I do a live feed on Instagram, I do a live feed on YouTube, I don't know. I'm going to get power banks so that I can keep the phone charged, so I can kind of record as I'm playing. Maybe get it mounted up like this, so it's kind of like a bit of a view over the battlefield, because I think this is kind of a good shot if I get it kind of in that way. So hopefully we'll be recording from Element Games on Sunday, and kind of I'll be doing recording with the actual camera as well, so I'll be compiling a video for the channel as well there. It's going to be an attempt at a live chat between myself and Stu and a couple other guys, because we chat between ourselves as a group, and we're like becoming a little club, and I'd quite like to get everybody to kind of get involved and kind of join the channel and get their opinions across, and obviously get your guys' opinions across. So hopefully that'll be cool and stylised, I don't know. I'm only a simple man. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this lovely long and with a slight technical issue in the middle chat and live feed, painting, talking, Primaris, basing, you name it, it's been there. This has been Mr. Cragum with Mr. Cragum Gaming. Go subscribe, give the video a like, spread the love, and enjoy a lovely weekend, people. I'm going to go get some soup noodles, stare at my tank and cry. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. Bye!